Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It is 2023. This is the first video of the year. We're going to be tackling the many gorilla characters of the Crash Bandicoot franchise because honestly there's a lot more than you think there are. This is your first time coming to the channel. We release Crash Bandicoot content every weekend. We discuss lore, theories, we do tier videos, we do interviews, we review games, and we talk Crash Bandicoot news. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, maybe consider subscribing. That all said, let's jump into the topic. The gorilla characters, enemies of the Crash Bandicoot franchise. So right off the bat, this is just a standard non-evolved gorilla character that appeared in Crash Bandicoot 2. And there are other gorilla characters that appear throughout the games that are not evolved. I'm not going to do separate entries for every single one of them because they're just regular gorilla animals that throw like logs at you, or if you get too close to them, they could hurt you by just touching them. And then there's the gigantic one that's in Tiger Temple from Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. So don't think I forgot them. I just don't feel like having a separate entry for every single gorilla that we see in the series. I'm just going to stick with this for the unmutated gorilla characters. And like I said, their first appearance was Crash Bandicoot 2. There were some monkeys in Crash Bandicoot 1, but we're just going to cover gorilla characters because, like I said, I was thinking about it recently, and there's a lot of gorilla characters. So I wanted to compile them all into one video. So that is the standard gorilla. I'm going to go chronologically as of the game that they were released in, and the next gorilla character to appear in the series was Rillaroo, who appeared in Crash Bash. Not much is known about his history in-universe. He is what people assume is a Cortex Commando that just didn't appear until Crash Bash. And behind the scenes, he was actually going to be Kangasu, who was a kangaroo character. I've released a video on her. Check my archive videos for that. But this was his original design. He was going to be called Dingorilla, and as you can see, he looks pretty similar, except for this version has a pouch connected to his pants, unlike the one that we see in our game. And then lastly, for Rillaroo, this was the original version released on Nitro Fueled before they changed him to quote-unquote fixed Rillaroo. So they're two separate characters. Fixed Rillaroo being the original Rillaroo. Since this one has giant eyebrows and a goofy mouth, I've headcanoned this to be fake Rillaroo. So you might not want to accept him as a separate entity from Rillaroo, but in my headcanon, this is another gorilla character, fake Rillaroo. And then this is from Crash the Wrath of Cortex, back during its beta period. There was the chief gorilla character who kidnapped Coco and threw her in a cage, and Crash had to set her free. So while this character has never made it to an actual Crash game, this would have been another gorilla enemy, the chief gorilla. Now we are showing Scorparilla, who I'm sure is the most recognizable gorilla character to date now, because she's been showing up a lot in the more recent games. She was in Crash Bandicoot 4, there was a little Easter egg picture of a gorilla, and they were trying to figure out what to splice its DNA with. And she also appears in Crash on the Run, which I'm going to show an image later chronologically because this is the Crash of the Titans Crash of the Titans console version. And this, unlike the On the Run, this is a whole species. Like there's no singular character like how Dingodile is just Dingodile. This is a whole species of Scorparillas. Like they all run wild. So this is the original Scorparilla design. And then we're going to go to Crash of the Titans mobile version. So this one doesn't have a name. It was an unnamed gorilla bull hybrid titan. And I think this one looks the most intimidating out of all of the gorilla characters that we have seen. I'd named this one Bullrilla. It seems like a fitting name for the character. So this is the Bullrilla enemy from the mobile version of Crash of the Titans. I really wish that this guy was in the console version. He's really neat. And again, we have another handheld version of a Titan. This is from the DS version of Crash of the Titans, and it is Porcurilla. So it's a porcupine hybrid gorilla creature that never got to appear in the console game. But this one looks really neat too, and I wish that it also was in the console games. And now we're going to move on to Mind Over Mutant. So Mind Over Mutant is the direct sequel to Crash of the Titans. Some timelines that people have put Mutant Island in between those two games, but there is no gorilla character in that game to share with you, so we just jump right to Crash Mind Over Mutant, and this is another version of Scorparilla. Again, like the other Crash of the Titans version of Scorparilla, though, it is not a character, it's more of an enemy. So there's a bunch of the Scorparillas running around in the wild. It's not just one singular character. And now we go to Crash on the Run. This is chronologically the last gorilla character to appear in the series. This is a cyborg version of Scorparilla, and unlike the other ones that were just wild creatures out in the wilderness, this is actually a character. So like you have one Dingodile, this is the one Scorparilla. Scorparilla is a character now, and there's different versions of this character in the alternate universes. So you have the Frosty, the Inferno, and the Oxide version of Scorparilla that also exists. I don't have pictures of them because technically they're the same character, just different universe variants. So I just kept it simple, and I kept it with the one Scorparilla. So this Scorparilla is a character opposed to a species. And now the last character, gorilla character, enemy, monster to show, actually doesn't have a physical appearance, and it is the furthest back in the timeline save for Crash Bandicoot 2. This one comes from CTR, so it's before Rillaroo and Bash. If you read Dingodile's epilogue in Crash Team Racing back in 1999, it says, Dingodile went on to found an animal breeding program for the creation of unique and interesting pets. His motto, combine them all, spurred such successes as the Gerbat, Kangarooster, and the Dingorilla. So while the Dingorilla doesn't physically appear in the Crash Bandicoot series, it predates all the other gorilla enemies that we've discussed in this video, save for the gorilla in Crash Bandicoot 2. I actually do have an image to show you guys, and this is how the source of my image wanted me to introduce him. Using modern technology and advanced artistic techniques, an anonymous benefactor submitted this artist's rendition of what said character may have looked like. And this is what the benefactor came up with as a sketch, a colored sketch of what Dingorilla would look like. He has the gorilla body, the lower body of the dingo, plus its tail, and a dingo head. So that is the Dingorilla, if you wanted to have an image to what Dingodile's combination creature would actually look like. It would look something like this. And my friends, that brings us to the end of the video. I shared all of the gorilla monsters, minion characters with you. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you didn't know about some of these characters, I hope I taught you a little something. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would appreciate it greatly. Subscribing and liking the video helps my channel grow, and as you can see, I don't have that many subscribers, so any little part you could do would be greatly appreciated. I have a couple videos planned coming out soon. I'm still working on my Crash Bandicoot Iceberg video. I have a couple interviews set up, and I'm also trying to do a collaboration with some of the Crash Bandicoot fandom. We have a couple projects in the works. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.